start recording so that you have to like get off your email now.
Ooh, I like that. A little scrunch up face, like.
Okay, I'm so sorry, sir.
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 Okay.
Sir. May I speak to your manager, please?
Oh, one thing.
Yes.
Just a quick thing is that my name is Martine, not Martin. For when you do the intro.
Martine.
Martine.
Yes, it's a
Okay,
little accent
gotcha.
on the I.
Thank you. Now I can visualize it. I was
Excellent.
in my head. I was like, Martine. Am I just thinking because of Corazon? I think I felt like I went like this with the eye. I kind of went up and then back down. I couldn't commit.
Martin. Look at this person in front of us. There's no way that the person in front of us is Martin.
Martin. I could be a Martin, but that would be a different place. French? No. But imagine.
That's gonna be good. All right. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And today we are with Martine. We are talking about the Devil's Lounge.
Yay.
Hi, Martine.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, Martine.
Hi.
Now, tell us about your game.
Please.
Absolutely. You know what? Maybe I should open up. So I'm going to be presenting at where are you two based?
Texas.
Texas for now.
Texas. Where? North, south, east, west?
San Antonio and Dallas.
Dallas.
Oh no shit! I'm actually in San Antonio myself.
What the heck? That's crazy.
Best friends.
Oh my god!
Best friends.
Insane! I'm going to Austin next week. Because they have like a thing called Austin Games, y'all. And then they had like a little PowerPoint presentation, and I was like, and then I'm gonna make a PowerPoint presentation about the game, and I'm like, I just filled out like a very rough draft of the slides that I'm gonna have, because I'm gonna have like 5 to 6 minutes to just tell people about the game. I'm like, in support, please. And that I now have just like words being like, this is the order I think I would like to talk about this game. So now I'm like,
Let's hear it.
let me go to that one. So the Devil's Lounge. The Devil's Lounge is a 2-player tarot game of horror and romance. It is based on dating apps. It is a dating app horror game about the horrors that lurk on the interfaces that we use to find love or other things. I like to start off with what inspired it, and the fact that like it is strongly based on all these different like modern dating apps that we use, like in this like digital era of like Tinder, Grindr, Bumble, just like, and not just dating apps but also hookup apps, and like the weirdness that can that surfaces from it. But it's not so much. It's funny because like yes, there is a horror element in like, oh, you don't know who these people are. I found the horror to be you don't know the person you're becoming whilst using these apps. Suddenly you're dealing with a bunch of numbers, you're dealing with a bunch of profiles, and you start changing as you start interacting with these people, and it's just becoming a bit of a transaction. And so this is a story about the monster you are becoming. That's kind of like the little bit that I like to add to it. It's like it's horror, and that like yes, there's scary things, but there's also scary things inside that are starting to surface out. And the way it manifests is that it's a deal with the devil. It's a Faustian bargain. It's a 2-player game. There's a user and a devil, and this kind of like popped into my mind. I have like a very clear memory / memories, because it happened in multiple instances. Just days where I've just like lost my entire day on a dating app, on a hookup app,
Right.
and then being like, I was supposed to be doing other things. Why did I spend like? And then like you'll look at like how long have you spent on this app, and it's like 5 hours, and I'm like, who is this? Who did that? That wasn't me. Was it me? And then I remember writing down in my notebook one day, and I like wrote down. I was like, I feel like I made a deal with the devil. I gave him all my time, and I have nothing to show for it. And then that's kind of where like the devil came into play, and that's like I was like, ooh, I like that. Let me sit on it for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's where it's born. Again, it's a 2-player game. We have a user, we have a devil. the user is willing to pay a price for a desire that they have. And then the devil holds dominion over a lounge and enjoys toying with its patrons. The desire and price are two big things. The desire, like, it's fun in the sense that, like, I allow the player. Let me backtrack a little bit. The using the devil, the user is the person who is being dealt cards. The devil is the person who is dealing the cards. So when you play this game, it's not that both player. There is a little bit of inequality in terms of like knowledge of the game. It is meant that the user should know as little as possible. Meanwhile, the devil should actually read the book and like be familiar with the rule set. This kind of came about because I was gonna make this a video game for like this game jam, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah, I like this idea." And it was gonna be like super based on Citizen Sleeper, just kind of like talk to people, and then like counters and clocks progressing. And I was talking with someone, and I was like, "Oh, well, I would really enjoy making this a physical game too." And they were like, "Stop, do that." They were like, "Making a physical game is leagues easier than making a video game. It's much easier to prototype. It's much easier to like change direction and be like, ooh, actually, I want to do this." And it just gives you a lot more liberty in terms of like what you're making. And I was like, "Oh, you know what? You're right." I had been growing like more and more interested in like tabletop role playing games. I'd become very interested in like duet games from reading this book that I found on my library app called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And then these two characters had like a 2-player D&D game, like a GM and a player. That's it. So in this, like the way that manifests here is that like the devil is more of a GM role. You are not the protagonist. You are the environment of this tale. And then the user is the protagonist. However, they don't have full control of their character, but the devil always has to say. So like it's more so both players like constructing a narrative together, but then each one has kind of like, as the devil, your job is to horrify this tale. As the user, you're trying to get out, or you're trying to get what you want. Like you like develop like who you're gonna be, what you're gonna want. What else? There's 2 phases to the game. We have a world building phase, which is, I love how I'm just like throwing, I left a little section at the end being like, these are my inspirations, but I'm just throwing the inspirations as they go through. If you've ever heard of a game called Wickedness by Maisie Veselak, it also uses tarot cards, and it's also so cool. It's published by Possum Creek Games. Definitely check it out. It's like a coven of 3. It's 3 players specifically. It's not 4. It's not 2. It's 3 players, and you play as a coven of witches. And then you use tarot cards. And in the beginning, it's kind of like, grab these 3 cards and deal them out. Grab these 3 cards, deal them out. And I was like, ooh, I love that. I like that a lot. Like the 3, the deal out. So then I do that a lot in this beginning world building phase. We have 3 decks of 3 cards. The first one is going to be, at first it was going to be like, oh, this is your character. And I got feedback very early on being like, ooh, I feel like with like these kinds of like, because it actually started off as a solo journaling game. It was like people like to create their own character. So I was like, okay, let me pivot a little bit. And the pivot was that, what is your user's awareness as they enter into the lounge? So there's 3 cards that can either be chosen or dealt by the devil. And those are going to be the Fool, the Hierophant, and the High Priestess. The Fool is a card that represents just like new beginnings. It's a person walking down the cliff. So if you get the Fool, then your user is woefully ignorant of what the fuck they're getting themselves into. They are entering the lounge being like, this is going to be fun. This is great. I'm going to have a great time. It's that person who downloaded Tinder and they're like, yeah, sure, my friends told me about it and I don't really care. The High Priestess is about knowledge. It's like a hoarder of knowledge and kind of like has all the atoms. It's very wise. So the High Priestess is extremely aware of what they're doing. They know exactly what the lounge is. They know what it entails, and they're doing it anyways. And then the Hierophant, I kind of did a little bit of a twist on like the meaning of the card. It's like tradition, and it's a card about like tradition and morals, which is a good thing. But here I kind of try to like, I don't know why that like the tradition element of it got me very intrigued. And for me now, like the awareness of the user is that it's a repression. There is an element of shame in our character. You are aware
Mhm.
of what the lounge has to offer, yet you are ashamed of it. It's an immoral itch that needs to be scratched.
Gotcha. Like the what's supposed to be within our realm of dating and things like
Exactly. It's kind of
you
like,
know.
and I feel like I see that as like a lot like on queer like dating apps. It's like, oh, I'm just not gonna show
Yeah.
my face. There's like a lot of shame in it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
I can't help but want to use it, but I can't let anyone know that I'm using it.
Mhm.
And so then like it keeps going like that. There's like three cards that like decide the shape and the form of the devil. And then we have the sun, the star, and the moon. So what it's like, it's another deck of three cards, but it works a little differently in that you present the user the choice between the sun and the star. If the user chooses the sun, and they'll be aware of what choice they're making, and it's like a choice between the different mechanics of the game, or like what your objective is. If you choose
Mhm.
the star, then you're trying to find one connection, like as deep of a connection as possible, and then that's like your clear objective. If you're using the sun, you want to create as many connections as you can. So it's like breadth over depth. And I was kind of like, I wanted to add that because I was like, many people use these apps for different reasons, and I kind of want
Right.
to like
Mhm.
give that element of choice. And then from the remaining card of the sun and the star, you add the moon to it, and then now the devil chooses what is the price. So what will happen then is that they'll choose a card. We'll read through the meaning of the card. We'll read through prompts of what the price can be, and what will happen is that the user will choose a price, and then as soon as it is stated, it is automatically in effect. And what the devil will do is that once they hear the price that the user has agreed to, they will write down on a piece of paper and fold it. They'll write a secondary price. This one should be cruel. It should be expensive. Don't hold back. And then there are mechanics later in the game where it can come back and come into effect.
Gotcha.
So then and then we kind of like throughout all of these questions, I use a very strong mechanic that I found in God Killer First Blood edition made by Connie Chang, which is essentially
Yeah, we interviewed
We love
Connie.
Connie.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
I
great.
love Connie.
Yeah.
I like looked at their game, also a duet game, and I was like, ooh, maybe I can find inspiration here, and I very much did. They have like moves throughout the game, and I really like this thing where there was like, oh, I think like it's just like different things that like a player can do that will essentially it will prompt the player to answer something and then choose between two questions, and then the GM will then respond to the other, and then like respond to their own prompt and then respond to the remaining question. And it kind of gives like this the player like this power of like, okay, I answer this so that you don't get to answer that. It's like say like questions kind of like, what do you gain, what do you lose? So it's like, ooh,
Oh,
Okay, okay.
I can either choose to tell you what I gain, but then I give you the power to tell me what I lose, or I can mitigate what I gain, and then you get like you'll be the one like to tell like, wait, no, other way around. I
yeah.
mitigate what I lose, but then you tell me like, and then you didn't get that much, and it's like fuck. So that kind of push and
Yeah.
pull I really liked. So that's included throughout the entire game. Um, Especially in the world building phase. It's like a good 45 minutes of gameplay, and then from there we enter to like the more like gamic element, which is just kind of like um, playing through the cards. There's three main cards. Um, it's gonna be also wait is a breather good? How are we on information
Yeah.
overload?
No, we're following.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
good.
great. I was like,
I'm
let me
good.
check
Yeah.
in. Let me check in if like what I'm
I appreciate that.
like room for questions, comments.
Well, I mean, I can have. I mean, I think it sounds great. I think that Alex, did you play? I mean, did you use Oath? Sorry, God Killer stuff with your campaign?
I have not played any God Killer.
Because I
We have
knew.
talked about it.
Yes.
I know I need to.
Mhm.
That is
Well, because
Honestly,
I
that is
also
a
know.
push.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
must say, like a guilty confession of mine, and it's not even that guilty. I think I spend more time reading game systems than I do playing game systems.
Yeah.
There's something so fascinating about them. I just love being like, oh, and you do this, and you do that. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to play this.
I just need friends.
Exactly. I have friends, but they don't play. Or I can't coordinate them. It's one of those.
Yes,
Yeah.
the coordination.
It's the coordination. It's like, why is this a headache?
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe a duet game is less logistics because you don't have to grab a group of friends. You just be like, hey, do you want to play this with me?
Yeah.
Well, and then you play the like Valentine's Day and then like the couples anniversary. So then you get the couples on board, right?
Hell
So you
yeah.
get like
Maybe I ruined the relationship. Maybe not.
Listen, that's okay.
And that's okay.
If this is the game that does that for you,
I would-
you were not going to survive anyways.
Exactly. And also, I would just feel so proud if someone told me that we broke up because of your game. I'd be like, yes.
I am the puppeteer.
I'm controlling all these strings. Ay, ay, ay. Oh,
What happened with the relationship? Tell me more. Oh no, I'm so sorry. And then
so
that's a
sorry.
review.
And then you have
that's
like a
a review.
chalkboard to your
I'll-
side, and you just go one down every
Yep.
relationship.
I like that. In my mind, I'm also like adding it as an accolade in like a game trailer. This ruined my relationship, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh no.
You're welcome.
Well, when you subsequently release a second version or like a expansion on the inside of the box, it's when you write all the tally marks of like all of the couples that have like reached out to you and said like, ha, we've broke up because of, and you're like, that's another tally mark in the next expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get that.
Ooh, I do like that.
Listen, I'm here for being petty.
I'm all here for it. Absolutely. That makes two of
Yeah.
us. I put up both hands with two. So it's
It's all two of us, baby.
One.
not very
Two.
translatable to audio format, but trust.
Okay, so while playing, we get to talk about the user's awareness, and then the shape of the devil. And is that those are two of the three decks of cards? Is the third deck all of the other play things?
It's the two remaining decks are going to be the desire and then the price. And then once we get through that, and like there's like rules like across the thing, kind of like say once you choose your awareness, it's like okay, the remaining two cards, add them to this deck. Of the shape and form of the remaining two cards, add them to this deck. Kind of the same with the last one, add it to the event deck. And there's three main decks. There's going to be the Denizen deck. I grabbed that straight from Wickedness, the word Denizen. I just liked it. It feels very like underworldy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We have a Denizen deck. We have a challenge deck, which is going to be like the hand that the player like plays with, and then finally there's going to be an event deck, which kind of like is what keeps the game like succinct. It's so that it doesn't go on forever. It's kind of like this is kind of like your time limit. The event deck is like 9 cards long. The Denizen has like 8 different Denizens, and then finally the challenge card is going to be all the kings, queens, and pages in a Tarot's Minor Arcana plus the Devil card. So the really cool thing is that like each round, 3 Denizens are going to come out, and you're going to have the opportunity to match with them, and you're going to use your challenge cards to attempt a match. And if at any point throughout any of the rounds you ever get the Devil card in your hand and you decide to play the Devil card, the game ends. Right there. You can end the game in round 2 if you get the card in your hand and you decide to play it. It is you saying that you've had enough or that you've had your fill. And you decide to leave. And then we enter into the ending, which is just kind of like, okay, did this happen? Did that happen? Did this happen? Did that happen? Answer these questions. And then finally it's like a little epilogue. But I like it was that was like one of the first things that came to my mind whilst developing the game. Kind of like, ooh, it enters your hand. You always have the choice. I found that very fascinating. The idea of like you always have the choice to leave, but you're not leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You're not leaving. Why aren't you leaving? What keeps you back? What keeps you in? And there's like a few mechanics along the events that kind of like lock you in. I think if the world card appears and it like all the event cards are gonna have an in-game effect, in-play effect, and a partied effect, because each one only lasts 1 round. And I think if the world appeared, the in-play effect literally just says you are compelled to use the Devil card. That's it. It doesn't mean you have. It doesn't say you have to. It says you are compelled. And
kind of draw that narrative
you
to that.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And then if you end up not using it, and if you had it in your hand, the parting effect is if you actively chose to not use it, if it appeared in your hand and you didn't use it, then discard the card. You're here forever. And the prompt on the world is like someone reached out. Someone from outside of the lounge has reached out to you. They're worried about you and they miss you and they tell you that they love you. And they're like, and it's kind of like a way out. And if you don't take it, it's you lost your opportunity.
That's awesome.
Evil.
Oh, because then you've actively made the choice to engage and continue to engage, which then would give the power to the devil.
Exactly.
So then you don't then get to make that choice.
You don't get to make that choice.
That's so interesting. Because really, it has that like layered effect of including like the addiction part of the dating apps,
Yes.
right? If the world is reaching out, somebody's saying, "Hey, I'm worried about you," and you're actively going, "No, I'm fine." Then like, yeah,
You're sinking yourself
absolutely.
You're sinking yourself in, and it's so fun. And I'm just like, I've been having a lot of fun with the crunchiness of the mechanics. Or I guess crunchiness isn't the word. I was educated on this recently. Crunchiness is like with numbers and stuff. I'm like, I guess it's juicy.
Yeah.
It's like I just like
It's the extra storytelling part that you can take away from it, right? So you could be boring and you'd be like, oh, whatever, no big deal. But what it sounds like is that there has to be
Mind
a level
you, at that
of...
point, I feel really bad if you like got the world and you chose not to use the double. And like for me, that's a big point on having the user know as little of the rules as possible. They should know the general main loop of play.
Yeah.
You do this to do this. Maybe if they're going to play the double card, be like, hey, that's going to end the game. Are you sure you want to do that? I have like a little section of being like, you know your player best. You, the devil, playing with this person. You know, like some people don't like being in the dark. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll guide you through this. But just, it's like, it's not mandatory. It's a recommendation. It's like, it's a framework of playing this game. Right. Instead of like, it needs to be like this. It's kind of like lean on the side of letting them know as little as possible. You know your player best. If you feel like they need to know something, let them know. Easy as that. It's like, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not there.
This is just a book. What do you think I'm going to do? Arrest you?
Jail.
Mini little heads come out.
Oh my god.
Adrian.
¿Qué pasó?
It's on Backer Kit.
Well,
wait, mine? I need to delete that.
Why are you deleting
Because I
it?
can't have it on. Okay, because I made the I got confused. I was looking at all these other different Kickstarters, and they were like fulfilled through Backer Kit, and I was like, oh great, I'm gonna make a Backer Kit. So I made a Backer Kit, but apparently you need to make a pledge manager, not a campaign.
Oh, so it's
that's
just,
fair.
Yeah, it's a little. It's okay. It's a different.
It's
method.
a little the back end. It's the back end.
It's the back end.
Okay, just kidding.
Exactly.
Time out. I had no idea. I
Kickstarter,
googled it.
And you googled it, and the first thing that came out was Backer Kit. Interesting. I'll keep that in mind.
No. The first thing that came up was your itch.
Oh.
However, I hyperfixate on Backer Kit and Kickstarter, so that's one of the things that came up. Wait.
I'm willing to open.
I'm so in trouble.
I'm so willing to open this Pandora's box. How come? Is there a preference for Backer Kit over Kickstarter?
From my understanding, Backer Kit is very good, but it's hard to traffic people towards Backer Kit because it's not as like name recognized as Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a few friends who just work together to kind of make this. Like, I'm not sure about the ins and outs of each website, but he's done a lot of stuff on Backer Kit now. He switched from Kickstarter to Backer Kit, but he's had his following kind of follow him there. So that's my understanding of how and
that makes more sense because I've just Backer Kit Wires in the Woods, which I think already had some sort of following, and the art is incredible. And then I Backer Kit the oh my gosh, give me a second. Let me look it up.
Yes.
Somebody's gonna get so mad at me at the fact that I cannot think of this name. Welcome to I backer kit Welcome to Night Vale, the RPG version. Someone's gonna get mad at me for that one.
I thought
so
you were
sorry.
interested in that. And now you don't
You
even
thought
know
I
the
was?
name.
I don't even know the name. Listen, it's the ADHD. I'm claiming ADHD on that one. Because I remembered Wire in the Woods before I remembered anything, so it's fine. But both of those have like a bigger background. Like Welcome to Night Vale can just say hey, and then all the weird games
Never
go.
following.
Yeah, no, I looked up Welcome to Night Vale and I didn't even find the backer kit.
It should be closed
Oh
now.
yeah, wait, that was last year.
It's in fulfillment. Yeah, it was.
Soon,
I got everything. I literally got everything. Listen, I am a girly who supports other girlies.
Absolutely. Oh my god. Speaking
So-
of girlies, there's a project. I'm here to like talk about myself, but also I'm like girl. There is this Kickstarter called Drink by Sweat.
I'm so sorry.
Already looking it up.
Straight. You said
Drink by Sweat. It's a storytelling game about a fight club for queer women. And it looks so cool. I'm done. It's like inspired by the movie Bottoms, which I haven't even seen yet. Oh no.
how many days? 18 days to go.
And there's like a little thing like in it that's like buddy, comma. They won't even tell me what a queer woman is. Drink My Sweat is a game about queer women, but don't get too bothered about what queer means or what woman means. And it's just like at the end it's like you belong here, and I'm like, I love this.
That's amazing. You just back it.
I think they might have.
I don't want to talk about it.
Anyway.
Hey, listen.
Just have like a really
Listen.
expensive tier that says Alex's tier, and Alex would be compelled to back it.
Listen. Okay. First of all, I
games.
just received Sweet Revenge, which also came with Perils and Princesses. So honestly,
I've been looking at that game.
It's so good.
I haven't played it.
we got to meet the creator. I don't know if it's a week with. I met the creator at Gen Con. And actually he is what inspired the Girlblins like campaign that I'm currently in the midst of talking about and writing.
Oh, hell yeah.
But it was because of Perils and Princesses that we started, and then he's a big fantasy story what's the word I'm thinking of? Fairy tale.
There you go.
There we go.
Fairy tale illustrator.
I'm
I was
like,
watching
that
your
is one of
brain
those
just
words.
escape yourself for a second. I'm like, oh, there it goes.
Bye.
Pretty much.
I tend to have I just realized I'm putting myself on blast. I tend to like games that are very not just fantasy, right? I don't care about being an elf.
Fair enough.
But you can definitely get me in by being a witch. You can get me to buy your game if I'm a princess, and you can get me to buy your game if I'm a little woodland creature.
Ooh, you know what? I must stand by that last one as well. Yes. Make me a little woodland creature. I've been wanting to play Roots, the RPG, for a while. But it looks
I've only
so
played
complicated.
I can't justify it yet, but I want to.
God, so many games out
There's
there.
so many
Not enough
games out there.
time.
It's kind of hard to believe that like everyone's trying to make so many games, but I love it. It's like, yes, games is where it's at. I love it as like a medium to like tell stories, and also to like
Mhm.
I just like there's something so like interesting about like using a mechanic to like say a thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like when you were talking about how like the dating apps were kind of like consuming time, I remember the early days of Tinder where it was just like swipe forever, and you didn't have a limit, and you're just going.
You could just do it all day.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I just remember going to a pet store to get some food for my snake, and just the guy on this counter was just swiping away.
Yeah.
Just all consuming.
Oh, it is all
It is.
consuming. And I remember like talking to different people, because I've had my own experiences and like seeing like the ways in which like I've seen myself change, and like
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
not proud of it. Like I've definitely been really mean because I've like
Yeah.
wanted something and I couldn't get it, and I'm like, well, fuck you, and it's like, and then I like put it down, and I'm like, what? Why did I just? And it's like, and I'm starting to realize that it's not just in the experience. I've like talked to more people, especially
Yeah.
since like coming up with a game, and just like telling like, oh, I'm working on this thing, and they're like, oh shit, I've actually like that has happened to me. I think like someone told me about the fact that they were like, yeah, they like cussed someone off on like one of the on a dating app. They hadn't even met or something like that, and then like they like showed a friend, and they were like, ha ha ha, look at this, and the friend was like, you said this, just kind of like in disbelief, and they were like, oh, but like, and I found this so riveting and interesting. They were like, oh, you don't get it, it's not me, it's a game. And they were like, no, 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 that's you. And I was like, as they were telling me, I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa, that's crazy to me. Like that sentence, like, oh, that isn't me. This is my little avatar. It's fake me. It's not really me. So it doesn't count. And it
That's cool. That's interesting.
it's
I don't think that's cool that they did that.
a
But like,
cool
the
thought.
idea of
It's
it.
not a
Yeah,
cool
yeah, yeah.
phenomenon. It's a cool thought, but it's not a cool phenomenon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And then someone else
That's
that I was talking
so.
to was like, and like fully, I was like, oh, this is gonna like hit all the girlies and the queers. No, this also hits the straight men too. Apparently, I was telling a guy about it, and he was like, yeah, I've been using Tinder, and I, he got a dating app consultant, and it got to the point. I'm yeah yeah yeah. It got to the point where like they had a spreadsheet of the dates that they were going on, of like what progression, because they were like, I need to find my true love now, because of like that sense of a biological clock. They're like, I need to find something, and they had a and then
Mm-hmm.
it got to a point where they're like, I don't know how long they were in this hole, but like they did tell me about like one day just like looking at their spreadsheet, they're like, holy fuck, I have a bunch of people on a spreadsheet, and I'm like, this is so dehumanizing to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, I feel you though. I was like, pat on the back. I'm like, it's rough out here.
I mean, because it's through an app, it becomes like they said,
Mm-hmm.
a game. Like, oh, no, yes, that's all the thing. There's no deeper connection than what is plainly there, and even then, people will lie.
Yeah.
Catfishing
Yeah.
and what's called just like, oh, I work in XYZ, and it's like, no, I do this instead. Oh no, man,
It's
dating's tough.
dating's tough.
Yeah.
So why not make a horror game about it? Play with your friends.
I love that aspect. I love the game part, but yeah, the fucking no, the apps are
The apps are
gross.
gross. I would like them to stop. I
Listen,
think we were talking. No, please.
yeah, no, 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 go, 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 go,
Absolutely not.
go.
I refuse. Actually, I stand
Okay,
my ground.
okay, okay, okay. Listen. The the number of straight men that show up on apps that are not created for straight men, I need them to go because it's like a jump scare. It's like, oh, I'm looking at all these really pretty girls, and then you see uh, like a man who has the audacity, and you're like,
What are you doing here?
you have to go. Like you're
Got to
you're not one of us. And it's not just like girls. Like it's they thems, and you're just like, but do you know where you are?
Mhm.
Like do you know?
Is this like
You would
someone
have
like
better
sneaking
luck.
into like Lex or something? Or was that the name of that queer app?
The one that I use her, and I currently everything
A straight man on her?
a straight man on her on an app called Her.
Oh no.
I
The audacity.
and I'm like, y'all, do you know where you are? Do you know?
That's crazy.
Do you know how much time you have? It's gross. But I don't know. I just like, sir, do you need Grinder? Do you need to go somewhere else? Do you need to?
Maybe he
I
does.
heard this is where all the hers are at.
Oh, it's not for you, sir.
What if it's someone who's
But-
like, I actually just want a femme friend. I'm only surrounded by men, and I need a like.
Oh, interesting.
Imagine. What if? You probably not.
However, you have surrounded yourself with men who that already tells me enough. I don't want to be a part if you're surrounding yourself in men.
It's like, come on, guy. You can look around the corner. It's not hard.
No. No. Yeah, Adrian. Yeah.
Well, listen, I remember after a breakup, like a month after, I just downloaded like all the apps. I think I had a little tiny Apple window of just 6 to 7
Just the apps.
apps of dating apps, and I'm just like, it wasn't healthy. I just didn't know what to do, and I was just like spiraling from a breakup. And I'm just like, I think eventually I got out of it, and then I just swore off the apps altogether. And then I'm like, okay, I think I've I need a healthy medium where I could try again, but also I'd like to try to find things that are outside the apps that aren't just these computer connections, because I don't know, you don't get to really know people. You know, you have a time limit, and you like, if they're like, okay, uninterested, next. Because you have that access. Why not? Why not go for the next interesting thing?
Exactly. It's like, it's so readily available. It's like, no, I'm not gonna give you the time of day. And it's like, also,
Right.
you don't actually get to beat anyone when you're like on these. You just like,
Yeah.
you just pass them through. No. I vouch for the meet cute. I want to meet cute in my life. I
Yeah.
grew up reading a lot of shoujo manga.
Nice.
And I think like, yeah, for me it's gotta be the slow burn. I need us to be friends for like maybe 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years.
I like it.
I like it slow.
That's so slow.
I know, that would be insane. But honestly, like, no, I swear to God, like, if like out of nowhere, like, oh, that friend that I have that like we like occasionally talk, and it suddenly were to bloom, I would lose my mind.
Oh my gosh. Martine, I need you to read a book called Love, Rosie.
Okay.
They made a movie adaptation of it. Don't do it. It's okay. It's fine.
The book.
But the book. They grow up as kids. So it's told completely by letters or correspondence. So either text messaging, actual notes, and it starts when the two characters, I'm so sorry, it's straight, but
it's okay.
They start as
all the
little
shoujo manga I
kids.
read growing up were also straight, and I ate them up.
It's so cute though, but they start off as kids. Like, Rosie pushed so and so, and that's the note from school. And then they like grow up, and then of course they should be together, and then they're not together, and then you're like, no. And then but it is like messages at work through the like Skype, and then like text messages and letters, and you're like, this whole thing is just so cute. But if you want a slow burn, they grow up together, and you're just the whole time just screaming at the book.
Absolutely. Love, Rosie. Here we go.
It's Love, Rosie.
Oh yeah, that movie looks so gross. I'm sorry, I just saw like the pictures. I'm like, oh no.
I know.
Oh no.
It's because you miss like all of the nuances of what it, like, the correspondence of it all, right? That is so that bought me in, I think, in the first couple pages, where it's just like the school notes, and you're like, that's so cute. Like, yes, I'm here for it. I don't actually remember if it was the book is actually good, like if it's well written. So we're not talking about it being literary, but we are talking about it being real fucking
okay.
cute.
Boom. I like that.
Yeah.
Ay. I think earlier on, when we like before, I think it was before we started recording, we were talking about like social media and like how it can like suck you in. It's funny to me because I think, like, to me, almost like the Devil's Lounge is like almost feels like a precursor to this bigger idea of mine that I would love to someday develop. But in my mind, like, the devil is kind of like this representation of the dating app, kind of like luring you in and keeping you there. At the end of the day, dating apps are social media platforms. They just have like a very specific, like, this is what you want.
Right.
But I've always found like it's really. I've seen this thing that says that like apparently our phones are kind of already part of our brains. The whole idea of like the cyborg, and that we're already
Oh.
cyborgs in the sense that like our phones are our brains. It has so much stuff that is connected to our brains. It has like it does things that have such a sharp reaction to our brains. Like you'll hear a notification and you'll be like, and it's like it's
Mhm.
already in there. So sometimes I imagine like my phone being like a little bug that's in my brain and whispering in my ear, and it's like, "You're never gonna let me go. I'm never gonna let you go." And I'm like, "Ah!"
Yeah, like what? Oh, hey, I'm hungry. I'm gonna order something. Oh, I'm like it's there. It's always connected to you. It's
Mhm.
in your pocket. It by the way, there's a you have a notification. It's time to do X, Y, and Z. Your Duolingo, your Pokemon Go, what Pocket or whatever.
Yes, my
So
Pokemon Sleep.
yeah.
My plug for Pokemon Sleep. Yes, they sponsor me.
I bought my brother the little Pokeball thingy.
I do
You do.
want one. I want one.
It's like I don't need
I
it,
don't need it.
and
I
he
really
doesn't
don't.
need it. But it's kind of cute. The Pikachu sings to you. What are you making that face for, Alex?
I mean, because they got us in real early. Like we are
Yes.
hopeless against Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
We specifically helpless. There's a Snorlax somewhere in that giant pile of things that need to go.
Wait, I
sold,
must know.
Right?
What was everyone's first Pokemon game?
Yellow.
Oh wow, it was Diamond.
Red.
Diamond for me. I started on Sinnoh. Y'all, y'all were Gen 1. Dang.
It's time for the Advil.
Well,
Regular dose of aspirin, please.
it's because you're old. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. You still were out with Yellow. You still.
Yeah, I
was
got
right
in
there.
early at like 9 or 10.
Nice. Though I definitely waited a while before getting my first one. My parents were big,
I
like,
think-
no video games. And I'm like, ha ha ha, little will you know. I'm going to make them someday.
What's 5th grade?
I think I got
5th grade
a
is 9 or 10.
station.
You
Huh.
were small. You were smaller.
Me?
Yeah.
10 is.
I was 9 or 10.
I was,
Okay, hold on. Time out.
How old are you?
I
Actually,
was-
I know intelligence.
I was in 5th grade, 4th or 5th grade when it hit. When the Pocket Monster hit the United States.
Nice.
Right? I was because I
They-
had a
they
binder
got
of the
you.
cards.
They got you from the
They
first
got me.
one. They were like, anyone?
I have a Vaporeon tattoo. It's
Hell yeah.
it's so cute.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Pokemon tattoos?
Okay.
Mwah.
it came out 1998 for red version.
Okay, so that was 4th grade for me.
Right. I want to see yellow.
4th
Yes. Wait, what did I just say? Yeah, same
Was it
thing.
9?
1988.
Oh.
Hmm.
grade. You got all 3 of them. Yeah. They were like back to back.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't like,
So red and blue came out, and then I think yellow. Listen, we were only poor. We were poor enough to have. I think we got 2 of them. I think I got
there's-
red, and my brother got blue.
hell yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just playing
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do shit together because there's no way I was gonna trade with my baby brother. Ew.
To get
Ew.
Gengar, you need to trade.
I mean, like I know that now, but like you can't tell a 4th grader that they need to
Interact with
trade
their
with their
little-
little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Absolutely not.
rules.
Brothers in fucking 1st or kindergarten. Like absolutely not. Fuck you. Ew.
Wow, so much love. So much
Ew.
love.
No, he knows. You fucking know.
Yeah.
He's listening right
Just
now.
Listen to this.
Just sibling things. Dude.
I wish my sister played games. Actually, no, I don't, because then she would just accuse me of copying her.
So she
That's
did
okay.
that.
This is true. Yeah. As a big sister, it would that's 100% confirmed that my brother only did shit to copy
Exactly,
me.
it's true.
What?
Mhm.
I'm the oldest. I never saw that in my siblings. I wanted them to play games with me, so I was like down with it.
Listen. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna challenge this. They did some shit that if you look at it
Just
right
angry,
fucking now,
just angry.
no, I'm not angry about it. It's really fucking cute. I'm just really excited about it. It's really fucking cute. So I did not realize the impact that I had on my siblings because I was like, I'm losing it. I hate my mom and all of this stuff. Right? Like general emo kid. I didn't realize that my hyperfixations of music, I got passed them down to my brother and sister. So my brother and I went to we were talking about it during some holiday and he was like, "Oh, Guster." And I was like, What the fuck do you mean Guster?" Which is a band out of Boston. And I was like, "What the fuck do you even know about Guster?" Cuz at that time he was like listening to like straight EDM. Like he was just that's what he
I
was
remember
doing. I
that
was like,
phase.
Yeah. Cool. But I was listening to like folkier music. And he goes, "Yeah, I fucking love them." And I was like, "What do you mean you love them?" He was like, "Well, you played them all the time, so I just ended up really liking them." And then it hit me and I was like, "Oh shit." Like I I had some sort of like big sister impact on my
There's a reason
littles.
we copy y'all. There's a reason we
Yeah,
copy the big
so
sister. Like it's real.
you, Adrian, you might say that they didn't, but there's something that they do because of you, for sure.
Yes, like
For sure.
at a minimum.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. Listen, I didn't realize this until like 2 years ago.
Pursed lips doesn't buy
I'll,
it.
I'll have to do some research now. I have to go.
Just watch them.
Well,
Just
it's-
observe.
what's the,
Interview them.
What's the age difference between you and your younger sibling? Because mine's only 1 year.
I have 3. No. How are we? 3.
How many?
3. I've got 3. It's 3 between me and James, and it's 4 between James and Elizabeth. So there's 7 between me and my youngest sibling. But James and I are only 3 years apart. My baby brother.
Mm-hmm. I think.
So, yeah. 1 year. That's so... Kenna, that's also weird. Can we also just point that out too? Like, I know the mechanics of what had to happen for you to be born and then for your brother to be born like a year later. Like,
The
they
mechanics.
didn't...
The game mechanics.
They waited just enough time.
They saw the little counter,
It was...
like little Sims counter. I don't even know if this is possible in The Sims. It's like, time for baby to come out. Okay, great. Okay, press button again. It's like we're making another one.
Yeah.
Woohoo. Woohoo right now.
Woohoo.
to
Woohoo
party,
immediately.
baby shower, make another.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. That is the strangest thing that every time like they're a year apart, I'm like, mechanically.
They say it was an accident. You know.
It could have been, but the doctor said you're clear, and they were clear. Sorry, Adrian.
I don't.
Sorry, guys.
We don't have to talk about this.
Exactly.
You know?
We can move on. My sister
Hey,
is 3 years older than me.
Martine is Devil's Lounge. Wow, look at that.
Are you, Martine? Are you a tarot girly?
I have become in the past 3 to 4 years for sure.
Okay.
Okay. I think when my grandfather passed away, me and my dad's side of the family kind of like went to my aunt's place, and we kind of just stayed there. And my aunt out of nowhere was like, "Do you want me to read your cards?" And I was like, and like for me, like this is like, oh my god, Tia Titi, please never listen to this. She will never listen to this. In my mind, she was bland as hell. She was like my bland aunt. I was like, oh yeah, Tia Titi, she's there. You know, she does her thing. And then out of nowhere, she asked me if if she can read my cards, and I'm like, you read cards? And immediately she became like 10 times more interesting. And I was like, fuck yes. And then like she gave me like a really like proper, like she gave me like the Celtic reading, I think it is. Like the Celtic cross, the one where you put like the card and then it's like a round and the 3 on the side.
Okay, yeah.
And I ate that shit up. She was telling me what everything was meaning, and I was like, oh my god.
What do you
I was
mean?
like, I
What do you
see it, I
mean?
see it. And then we just started
Mhm.
talking about the theory of tarot. She was like, this is not divination. This is just presenting you the answers that exist. And I was like, absolutely. I was so on board. I was like, what this is doing is that it's giving me a bunch of symbols and it's making me apply those symbols into what I already have a framework. And just that exercise is making me do a little bit of introspection. Like, I was like, there is value
Yeah.
here no matter fucking what. I was like, I am obsessed. And she got me into it.
Do you have like a lot of decks right now?
No, she said something very early on that I romanticized the living shit out of everything. And she told me that your first deck should be gifted. So I refused to buy one for the longest time. And my sister got me one for
Have
Christmas.
you been
My sister got
gifted?
me one for
Okay, good.
Christmas. Also, my friend gave me one of their decks, but it's cursed and I want to get rid of it.
How does one get like? Is it there a ceremony to do that, or you just
No,
like
no, no,
give
no,
it to
no.
the
She
next
was she
sucker?
was
Like
just
I don't
like, I have all
know.
these decks, and I mean, like, do you want this one? She was like, I don't really like it, and I was like, let me give it a try. And I looked at it, and I was like, I don't really like it either. But I was like, it seems like you want to get rid of this, so I'll take it off your hands. So I took it off her hands, and that's the deck that I used to like brainstorm this game. Literally, the cursed deck.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it like, and I was,
But that makes sense.
it's for a cursed game. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, I'm here for it. I was like, you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Am I gonna do a reading on these cards? No, no. I'm not gonna do any reading. Absolutely not. But will I play a game? Yeah, yeah. Um,
That's so interesting. Okay, so how did you go into breaking up the cards into the deck itself?
in
Into the Devil's
oh
Lounge
yeah,
deck.
absolutely. It started off having the entire deck, and then that was a lot. Like, I think after every
Mhm.
round, you gained like an experience card, and then that had like a numeric value to it. Um, but whenever I play tested it, I always forgot about that. That was like always the thing. I was like, okay, next round, and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot to do that. So I was like, I did reach a point play with the game with a friend, uh, and they were kind of like, you need to choose a lane, and I realized that I needed to kill one of my babies. Um, I was like, one of these mechanics has got to go. I was like, something isn't working here, and I need to streamline this a little bit more. And I ended up just getting rid of like most of the minor arcana. They're just not in the game. What's in the game is all of the major arcana and the kings, queens, and pages. And like that took a big load off my mind of like, okay, there's less things to keep
Mhm.
track of. Um, and then on top of that, I really liked it because what was it? I'm working with one of my dear friends from back home. Their name is Beatriz Varela. They're the artist. They're the one who's like made the cover of the devil like shuffling the cards, and they're so good. And they've always wanted to make a tarot deck, but it's always been like such a daunting task. That's 78 unique artworks, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
Mhm.
whoa. And so then like what became like a really cool idea is like, oh, if this becomes a success, then and it's something that we can continue, then the next step for this project is to make a custom deck for the game. And if for a
Right.
custom
Mhm.
deck for the game, instead of making 78 unique art pieces, to make 25 is suddenly a lot more manageable. Like,
Yeah.
and like the major arcana, that's where the bread and the butter of the tarot is. Of course, the minor arcana are super important. I have grown to love and respect them a lot more over the years.
Listen. The only one that's sitting in front of you right now that would have any sort of opinion, it's me. And my favorite deck that I have that I don't use, it's just for it. I just have it. Is the I have a Muppets Major Arcana deck. Let me go grab.
Yes, yes, yes,
Somewhere in the pile of plushies. Oh, I thought she was.
yes.
Adrian, edit that out, or just put it at the very beginning for the cold open. Alex almost eating it.
Dear YouTuber, please ignore the fact that you can absolutely see that I did not make any bed today, and I literally just like got here. But yeah,
Oh wow, that
we
actually looks fire.
so like
Oh,
Gonzo's the
I love
fool,
this.
right? Let me see. Just throw my fun. The High Priestess is Janice.
Hell yeah, you gotta show me the devil, and you gotta show me the lovers.
And then the back.
Oh,
Isn't that so fun? Okay, devil. Okay, hold on. The tower is Beaker.
That's good.
That one's
That's
good. That one's good. I really like that.
Wheel of Fortune is a pizza with Rizzo.
Hell yeah. I love this so much.
The lovers is Kermit and Piggy.
Under a rainbow.
Right, in the boat. Right. The devil is
Also Kermit. That's also Kermit.
Also Kermit, right.
The evil Darth Vader Kermit from all the memes. They knew exactly what to do.
But the magician is oh fuck, I have no words.
You know the name. I know you know.
I don't know that name.
Jim Henson. Oh my god.
There we go.
Please just take out that pause, please. Just be like, she said Jim Henson immediately. It was incredible.
And I don't know where the other stuff where it went. It's gone.
Yeah. But Justice is Sam Eagle.
Oh my gosh, the tarot deck that I'm using, that my sister got me, it's made by Yoshi Tagi. You know the one. This one, it's pretty freaking popular.
It's so
My
pretty.
sister bought it at a game store, and I'm like, yes. But it's the Tarot of the Divine, inspired by deities, folklore, and fairy tales from around the world. Yeah. It's fucking fantastic. It's a great deck to learn the tarot with, because it has such it links a story to every card, and then you could just be like, oh, I don't understand this card, let me just understand the story, and it leads into itself so much, so well. Like, this Death is this guy. I forgot the name of the story completely. It's maybe Romanian, maybe Russian.
I think I actually need that.
The Empress is the freaking Virgen de Guadalupe.
Yes.
Representation.
Yeah. The devil is Boitata. It's a Brazilian myth.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's such a cool
card. It's like
though.
A fiery snake that kills anything that's destroying the environment. Oh, I love this one.
Yes.
The Fool is the Little Mermaid.
Yes. That's such pretty art too.
But yes. It's like, you're venturing into a new beginning, and it could be great. It could be not a good choice. Judgment is Sun Wukong. The Monkey King. The Moon is Kaguya, who is from the moon. It's like, fuck, wait. No, these are all so good. The Tower is Rapunzel. Oh, and I think my favorite one is probably going to be the High Priestess. The Lovers is going to be Beauty and the Beast. And it's going to be this. But then the High Priestess is going to be Scheherazade from the 101 Nights.
Yeah.
Because she has a story for every situation. She is full of stories. She is full of knowledge. And it's like, oh, yes, thank you. I geek out about these cards often.
No, that's a good, and especially if you're pulling cards, even because that could even go into, so that specific deck, right? I'm not, any of the tarot could, if you wanted to pull a card for your TTRPG campaign or just journaling or whatever, you could do it through there. However, putting it specifically in a story, you could be inspired by that story and then find those things. So I love that.
And one of the things I really love about using tarot in the game, and I picked up on this from, the different inspirations for this game, and they all link it to very specific things. God Killer, the inspiration and influences the mechanics of the call and response. Bound Together, it's this other game on HIO that I found a while back that is 2 players. It's you are bound together, you are bound to fail. It's a game where you're more 90% chance you're gonna lose, or 95. And it's just this idea of each player has a deck of cards, and then you just pull out every round of sorts, you pull out a card, and then you compare based on these things, and then you can match the suit, or you can match the number, and then that was how the whole mechanics played out. And then that had a big inspiration on the idea of using cards to match, to create that matching sequence as like a central mechanic. But then wickedness is like the tarot is what inspired the tarot itself. And one thing that I really loved in the book itself is that, like, yes, use the prompts that exist in this book to like influence your decisions, but recognize that the tarot is a player too, and your tarot deck is going to be wholly unique. So use like the art that comes with it, use it to use the meaning that is in the cards that you're playing.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm big on that for this game as well. It's like all the denizens that you meet, use the art itself if you need to, if you want to. Like be like, let the cards also like dictate the vibe, dictate the tone of the story. If you have a creepier deck laying around, use that one. If you want a bubblier one, then the story itself won't be bubbly per se, but its characters will have that kind of like, perhaps like that superficiality.
Yeah. That extra sweet.
That extra sweet. It's like it's sweet to the point of saccharin.
Yeah. What a good game. I'm so ready.
I'm so excited too. Oh, just jittery and
Oh my God.
nervous. It's in a. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I think when I first posted it, I said that it's gonna come out on Valentine's Day, which thematically, was so nice.
Yeah.
But then a lot of research was showing me that it's best to release on Tuesday or like Wednesday, and not to
Yeah.
like, not to do it on the weekend. That the weekend is kind of like shooting yourself in the knee. And I considered it. I was also like, I'd be competing against other Valentine's deals that exist like everywhere, and
Yeah.
I could use more time to set this
Nice,
goddamn
nice.
thing up.
That's good.
So now it's coming out on February 18th.
Nice.
Fabulous.
No problem. I mean,
Just-
yeah, I'm excited. I've every time I think about tarot, I want something, but I also feel like I don't even know if I'll treat it well right now because like I am not in a good space for it.
Oh, you're not?
I well, I have so many things that I just like leave laying around, and I think that if I get tarot, and I always like it's nice to like you said, you read the cards, you kind of introspect yourself, and I'm like, I have so many things going on. I don't even think I could read myself. I don't think I can focus on anything right now.
I think as a tarot girly, like you absolutely like it's super overwhelming when you're like, oh my gosh, I need to like learn all these cards and read them. But like I don't know how long I've been doing tarot, and I still look at books. Like I'm still like I still pull out the manual, and I'm like, okay, cool. What did it look like? It's upright. Okay, cool. It's reversed. Okay, what does that mean? And I have a couple of different, because most tarot decks come with some sort of guide, and then you can find them online. But I still use them, and if you stick to just like a major arcana, a lot of that like tarot building is like looking at the card and then like literally pointing out what is going on, right? So the star card is probably one of my favorites. I never pull it. I want to, and I
You've
never
never
pull
pulled
it.
the star card? That's
Never
so
for me.
sad.
Listen, never for me. You want to know the card I pull the fucking most is the goddamn tower
I was
card.
about to
And
say
I'm like,
the
I'm
tower.
so done with I'm the tower and the high priestess, right? Those are my two. I know it's fine. She's so cool.
She's awesome.
She's so good.
Card.
But if you start there with just like the major arcana and then like work with those, and sometimes it's just like I pull one card and I look at the meaning and I'm like, cool, let me just like feel the vibe of this card and think about it, and then like all day I'm sort of just meditating on that like idea.
And you glean something out of it.
And it really it looks really overwhelming, and a lot of the girlies are like, oh, I know all the connections of them, but it's weird. It becomes like tuned in, like whatever I'm even reading the book or reading the guides, you're like, okay, cool, that sort of makes sense, but let me push it a little bit farther, right? It's just giving me like words, but what does that mean in like either the cards that are playing with each other or like my own idea of what's going on in my life? And And Martine said it earlier. Like it's just it's just a reminder of something.
It's not. It doesn't determine
and
fate. It's or like it could,
no.
but it's not. It's not divination. It's introspection. And I would say, Adrian, if I would encourage or like even like challenge to do it with a friend, that's usually like where most fun. Because like I find the importance of like a fun to be super fucking important. Like if it's not fun, then you're probably not gonna do it. So like using tarot yourself by yourself to try to like figure out the answers. It's like that's not gonna happen. But like if you go with a friend and it's like, hey, can you read me? So you don't need to read yourself. Just have a friend read you and be like,
Right.
like don't. A big thing my aunt was big on. She was like, don't tell me your question. Don't tell me what's like really on your mind. Just tell me. Just let me know that you have a question and tell me the format. So like past, present, future, or there's different spreads that I don't know. And then have them be like, okay, I think this means this, and I think that means that, and I think that means that, and then you in your head, you're like, you could be like, that's completely wrong.
Right.
In that process of like, that's completely wrong, you see like, okay, then connections just be happening, and it's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do some in Lubbock. We'll find out when we go to LubbockCon.
What is
All right.
wait, before you do the outro, what is LubbockCon?
Go ahead.
Oh, LubbockCon is a convention in Lubbock, so like West Texas. But Adrian and I both it's very small, but it's very community based. And I ran it before I moved. And so it's one of it's a go-to favorite. It's very fun.
Yeah. I graduated from Texas Tech. Oh. So
did you graduate? You graduated from Texas Tech?
Eventually.
So fuck you guys. You're going to LubbockCon.
Oh, that's so precious. Bye. let me. Yeah. I'm gonna restart the recording real quick.
We didn't even do the outro.
No. You're fine. We could add it together.
It's fine.
Okay.
Just marry them. Yeah.
I was like, no.
No, not the whole thing. Yeah, no, we're good.
No. I would. That's happened to me before.
Yeah.
Oh, we've done that. Not on it happened.
It happens. But yeah, it's a small convention. It's in West Texas. It's great. It's fun.
It's where I graduated. So
So that's why you like it holds like close place to heart.
Yeah. It's like that. Yeah, it's home-ish. Home at one point.
Yeah, and there's some. To me, it's so crazy to see like voice actors showing up there, and I'm like, who wants to go to Lubbock, Texas, if they've never heard of Lubbock, Texas? It's like a lot of like I feel like LA folks, you know, when I don't know, they just give me a what is this town kind of vibe sometimes.
So can I give you the back end of it? I can just real quick. They don't care. They don't do it. Usually the actors that come to any appearance, they're not the ones scheduling it out. It is usually their agency or somebody. It's their talent part. And so they have like minimums met. So if they fly out. Usually they want like room and board and food. So that'll usually get paid through the convention, and then they'll have a minimum met of however much money they need to make over the weekend, either through autographs or pictures or whatever. And as long as that's met, that's usually fine. But the like minimum is met by either the people actually going and getting autographs and pictures, or the convention will pay it if they don't meet their minimum. So it's a job. I'm sorry to take that like mysterious part about it, but it's a job.
They're like, oh, they really just chose to be in Lubbock.
Oh my god, they chose us. Oh my god.
It's really weird looking at it because you can go to like talent pages and you can see like the list of people and their price ranges, and so you're like looking at a catalog of people that you can have at your convention, with the budget in mind, and it's just real weird. It feels gross. So that's the magic of it in the back end.
Wow, thank you for showing me how the sausage is made.
You're welcome. So yeah.
All right. Now, Martin, where can they find you?
Oh yes, I need to plug myself. So true. So my name is Martin Gilreal, but online you may find me as Corazon Interactive. Corazon spelled Corazon, like a heart. And I just made all these accounts last week, but they are on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. And I think I also just made a Facebook. But I'm starting to fuck mostly with Blue Sky, and I think that's the one I'm gonna be like predominantly using.
Good decision.
Exactly. I'm like, I kind of like this one most. So
Yeah.
really, you can find me on Corazon Interactive on Blue Sky. My artist, I'll also plug my artist as well. Bea Draws, and you can find them on Instagram, Bea_draws_.
Awesome.
And also, wait, last plug.
Yeah.
Go to the Kickstarter. I'm not gonna give a link. Just look up in Kickstarter The Devil's Lounge. It will appear.
And not the backer kit.
Not the backer kit.
Not the backer kit. I need to delete that.
Oh. Take it down. Oh my gosh. Martin, you've been a joy and a delight. Thank you for coming.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you two had me.
Oh my gosh. It was so fun. Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us wherever pods are cast. Share us with your friends, your enemies to lovers, your slow burn romance.
Share them with your slow burn romance, and they will know.
Gosh.
But they'll
They
know in
will.
2 years.
They'll know, hopefully. Well, they'll know now, but they won't do anything for another 4 to 5 years, right? Congratulations, you're almost married. You can also find us on all social medias at Dungeon and Degrees, and then you can help our podcast grow by supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/Dungeon and Degrees. Oh, there's a cat. What's the
Oh my
cat's
God.
name?
Yeah, hurry before we sign out.
His name's Gigi.
Gigi, like from Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll talk.
Thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Martine.
Go have some fun.